We can get started, please, 6:30.
We'll work through our reports.
We have a relatively short meeting tonight with not a lot on the agenda, except we do have a special guest on the agenda. And that is the, I think it's been a couple of years now, 2 years?
Just 1 year.
Just 1 year? Well, it seems like, but our representative on this side of town from the illuminating company, Terry Killeen is here to talk just a little bit about what he does and what he does for us as far as electricity. Right.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all yours.
Absolutely. Hi. Thank you, Madam President, and members of council, Mr. Mayor, Chief, and happy to be here tonight and answer any questions you might have about anything. Actually, I am ready to interact with several council members as it is, and appreciate the feedback that I get. And I know with Chief Dershak, he and I always communicated along with the mayor on a regular basis, especially during outages, storm events, those sort of things.
So then, Terry, you don't know our newest council people?
That's correct.
Okay, so Edwina Agee has, okay, all right.
Actually, I do know Edwina from a previous life, yes.
Councilman Brownlee from District 5, and you know Anthony from District 3. Anthony, is that right? No? No? Okay. And Ron Jackson is our newest councilman from District 4.
Good pleasure to meet everyone. You'll see that I did leave a card at your front there, but what I appreciate if you wouldn't mind doing is just circling my cell phone number on there. That's the number I prefer you call me. If you're calling me for a reason, and I want to give an extra call. Typically, I'm not in my office. I don't spend much time in my office. I usually out and about. However, I'm also tethered to my iPhone. Anytime I leave a meeting such as this, I sit in my car and I go through my emails and ones that have come in, and so I'm very responsive to that. If you have any issues or concerns, if you do email me, I'm able to respond right away, acknowledge that I received it. And also, I can also forward that email over to someone at a line shop or at a billing department or whatever, and ask them to follow up, and it kind of creates a little electronic paper trail to make sure I get responses back and whatnot. If email's not your thing, you prefer phone calls, that's totally fine with me, whatever it is most convenient for you. I know during large-scale events, it does get a little hectic or whatnot. I service approximately 20 different communities, and so we want to provide the best updates we can and find out what type of street closures there might be with wire downs and whatnot. And typically, I'll work with the safety director or the service director or the police chief, fire chief, depending on what community and whatnot. And typically, it's been the fire chief here, and so we're going to get acquainted very soon here to talk about best methods of communications and whatnot. But cell phone is always the best way to reach me if there's an urgent matter. Since the last time I was here, probably the biggest news we have with our company as far as customer service goes is we have an app for that. Okay, so we have a customer service app. If you want to report an outage, you could do that through your iPhone now. There's an application if you just search First Energy or the illuminating company. You could actually sign up and you could see your bill online, pay your bill online. You can report your outage online. You can get updates online. There's actually a map in there. If there's, let's say you have a big weather event and we have outages throughout all these different communities, throughout Cleveland, East Side, West Side, it'll actually show you where the outages are, and then it'll even detail it down. Has a truck been dispatched yet? Has a truck arrived yet? All that stuff. And so it's a real-time information that we actually utilize within our regional dispatch center that's now transported right to the palm of your hand. You're able to see updates. And so sometimes that's helpful because when you know that there's a big weather event going on, are there lots of outages going on? Are there large outages? Are there small outages? And you'll actually be able to see how many customers are affected with your outage. That information is also available at the website, although sometimes it may irritate people to say, just go to our website if you're experiencing an outage, because of course it can't turn their computers on. But you could access it on your phone. You know, sometimes people will go over to their sister's house or grandma's house or whatever, they'll be able to access the website that way as well. There's a lot of great features with that too. You could actually ask for a wake-up call if your power is out, you could ask for the company to actually give you a call at a specific time, you can provide them the phone number you wish them to call. And then
It's
it's
so not cool, because then you don't have an excuse to be late for work.
well, also with the iPhones too, you can set your ringer on that, but it's just a good way it's another service that we offer to call your phones if your power is out. Also, what's good about if your constituents call you and say the power is out, the first question you should ask is, how long ago did you call it in? And the knee-jerk reaction is probably, well, I didn't call it in. So if there's power is out, it's always important that a customer call that outage in. And the reason is because our dispatch center algorithms they receive from the calls coming in will let them know how big the outage is. If there's an outage at our substation and it's impacting 1,200 people and nobody calls, we don't know that there's a power outage going on. Okay? If one person calls, we presume one person is without power. So if two people call, we presume that a transformer up on a pole servicing those two houses may have blown a fuse. But if 2 people call here, 5 people call here, 10 people call up here, we know that the substation's out. And we know the scale, and we can predict how many customers are impacted by that, and then we know where to send the crew because we're able to predict where that is. So it's always important that someone call in their outage. Also, I've seen situations during large-scale events where someone hasn't called in because they just presume everybody's out, and they just have a wire down that was knocked down by a tree from the pole to their house. And so we never sent a crew there to take a look at their power outage. And so they remained without power for several days, and finally called City Hall and said, why don't I have power? And they said, well, did you call it in? We said, well, I never called it in. So they called it in, and here, this is something that could have been restored on the first day of the power outage. So it's just important that we do receive a phone call. It's not necessary to speak with a representative. If their phone numbers are matching on their accounts, match up with their account number and their phone number, they can just report it automatically online. That's a very reliable system we have for doing that.
So if you have an app, that means that we would not be able to get email like we used to. Every once in a while, we get an email from the predecessors that such and such was happening, or this was going to be shut down. We don't do that anymore.
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, if there's going to be a, let's say, a planned outage because we need to trim trees or whatnot, I still notify the city of that.
Okay, all right.
No doubt.
And we have been getting some of those. Good. Okay. Good.
That's good. What other kind of questions?
Well, I'd like to thank you again. Those problems that I had, many of them that I called, that you took care of, down at Stop One and Lee Road South and Broadside Lee. Thank you for next day's service. Fixed the second day's fixed, so I thank you.
Truly my pleasure. And it is a pleasure getting calls from you, and I'll tell you why. The councilman always provides me an address. Even if there's not an address available for that light pole that's right there, having an address is so important. Everything in our system is tied to an address. Even if someone says, hey, we're experiencing fluctuating power or this poor reliability in this certain part of the city, if I just have one address, our reliability engineers can focus in on what circuit that's feeding. And that's so important, is to have a specific address. Even if you say it's on the west side of this street, we could have several different ways that those houses are all fed in there. And that's done for a reason. We're able to swap services and reroute power and whatnot. So having that specific address is so important. And it's very easy to follow up quickly when we have specific addresses and great information. That's always good to know if you ever call about any concerns.
Yeah, and your lineman was awful nice when I asked you to have him come in. He did go in and talk to the owner up here, and he did tell me the problem that he'd be back.
Okay, right, we put those notes on the account, just so you ask.
That made him feel good.
Good. And that's our goal. We want everyone to be successful.
Is your app just basically for the iPhone?
As opposed to the Android or something like that?
Yeah, there's several different phones out there.
Right, I'm pretty sure the app works for any phone. And I'd say iPhone as generic as a Q-tip or something, so I apologize about that, but I think it's just for any smartphone, I should be saying.
Yeah, I'm checking right now.
All right.
Good.
He's
A lot
calling
of places don't
It's getting
have.
warm in here.
Richard, go
Well,
ahead.
iPhone's not the only phone out.
How can this person and she go out and do tree trimming, and how do you handle when constituents call to have trees trimmed, interference with
Great
wires and so
question.
forth?
So two questions here. We trim on what we call a 4-year cycle, and our tree trimmers are not linemen. They are our forestry supervisors are actually are degreed in horticulture, so they actually know the species of trees and whatnot, and how much do you need to trim in order for a 4-year cycle, and how fast that species of tree grows in this environment. And so they'll trim to that. Every now and then, something crazy happens, or a tree limb actually shifts that they didn't notice before, or maybe they missed a spot or whatever. If there is a concern that a constituent has, feel free to send me an email, a phone call, whatnot, and I will have a forestry supervisor take a look. Oftentimes, if I'm in the area, I'll take a look. Lots of times we find that there are cable TV or phone wires that are involved, and not our electric wires. And we don't trim for phone and TV. That would be their concern to take care of that. If the forestry supervisor deems that to be pose a problem, we definitely want to take care of that, and we'll schedule a tree trim crew to come out and trim those.
Good.
Okay. And that's, along with that, if there's tree damage during the storm, this is frustrating to residents especially. If a resident's tree comes down and smashes our equipment, we will make cuts and bits and pieces to get our wires and poles back up in the air, but we will not remove their tree. We won't charge them for their tree damage in our equipment, but oftentimes a resident, I know it's a very frustrating time because they have this big tree laying across their lawn or driveway. We will not clean that tree up for them. It's not a service we provide, and it's not something that we're out there to do. We're out there to get the power restored as quick as we can and move on to our next case. And then, however, if our equipment wasn't there and that tree fell, the customer would still have to remove that somehow. And that's what we ask them to do. So that's a frustrating part in that time, because first of all, they're going without power, and then they find out we're not going to clean up their tree, and sometimes it becomes very irritating. It's easier to talk about that now when there's no power outages going on.
Right.
Go ahead. Just one quick one. This is either going to be a good thing for you or a bad thing for you. Anybody told you got this Glenn Beck kind of look thing going on?
You're saying I'm a face for radio.
No.
I have heard that before.
See, okay, not just me.
And I've heard that they never see me and Glenn Beck in the same room.
And that was all about trees?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Terry. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you very much. I'll just kind of hang out till
Okay.
6 o'clock.
All right, thank you. I'd also like to introduce a student who's here with us tonight. He has a project going on at the high school. DeAndre Harrison from District 6, and he's got questions to answer. And if you're available after the council meeting, he would like to talk with you. That's Andre. Raise your hand, Andre. Thank you for coming. Okay, let's get over to the agenda tonight. We do have one committee report, which is our committee of the whole meeting for last Monday. And beyond that, we have resolution 214-76, which is to accept, this has been in committee, it's come out of committee, and it will be our second reading, but I would really like to suspend the rules and move this forward since it's been hanging around since. Pardon me?
It is retroactive.
Yes, that's what their contract said. That was the question when we were discussing it the other day. Their new contract is retroactive to January. I believe that's when the date was. So if we could possibly do a suspension and move this on. Is that agreed? Okay. 2014-84, this is the city's lease with Global Tower Partners.
Madam President,
Yes,
I'd like to
Mayor.
withdraw that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, to the
Yes.
mayor. Is there more negotiations going on, or?
Yes, Councilman Jackson, there's a new player with the opportunity for a higher dollar amount to be realized by the city.
And less time.
Yes.
His time is 50 years, and we were looking at 99 years with this particular company. So I've sat in with a couple of those meetings, and I do think that it's going to be a better deal, a little more friendly as far as terms. I think it'll be much better. And we're also looking at a couple of the billboards that this particular company thought that he might be able to renegotiate for us. So we can be hopeful anyway.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
When do we expect to hear news about this other contract or other business?
What do you mean news?
Are we going to have another contract coming for us soon? Is it going to take a while? What are we looking at?
Well, we're still in the getting it all together. We do have the option, we do have the contracts in hand, but nothing is signed. And the amount of money that was supposed to be offered, that is, at the last time I talked with the law clerk, it was not absolute, but it was a handshake.
Ongoing negotiation.
We have to get back to it.
As soon as we get caught up, we're sort of letting them compete against one another there, you know.
A little bit.
Got a bidding war going on. See what happens.
That's not a bad idea.
No.
But, okay, 2014-86, amending 2014-27 to make appropriations for current expenses. And we did go over this on Monday night, this and as well as 87. And I do believe this should be a first reading. And there's only, go ahead.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
On 2014-87, the temporary budget for 15, I'm going to assume that we're going to schedule some finance or committee of the whole meetings to further talk about that.
You're correct. Our expenditures over $1,000, we only have one item on it, 2014-103. Did you have any questions or comments on that?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
What was the cause for the expenditure? What was it that happened?
Can you answer that?
What was the cause for the expenditure? It said signal service was the company. What did they have to fix?
Using that on there, I'm sorry.
Traffic lights.
Yeah.
Traffic lights?
I wasn't reading on your.
Was that maintenance or was there a repair necessary?
It says repairs on your
Well, I'm just asking.
description.
Is it maintenance or repairs?
Could have been both.
Okay. Could have been both. So was it both or was it one?
Could have been both. I mean, we have a lot of traffic lights, so
I asked you a question.
I gave you an answer.
Is it repairs
It's
or was it
listed on the
maintenance?
document.
So was it repairs?
It's listed on the
Okay.
document.
Then the mayor said maintenance possibly.
Well,
Oh, yes,
they
it
probably
is.
did maintenance while they were out there.
Okay. No need to be so difficult.
We're not.
Okay, was that the only question for that? Okay, and I do want to let you know that we will have a meeting on Monday, the 24th, which will be another committee of the whole meeting, where we will be looking at our proposed 2015, no, that's going to be the 1st,
Oh.
December 1st.
I had it scheduled for the 1st, and then I thought you were
Right,
switching
right.
to the 1st.
We've had- Are you okay with that?
So when do you want, like, the
Well,
guests?
back to your original time.
Okay.
Is that all right?
That's fine, I just need to call them back, because I thought when it was.
No. I think between phone calls and emails, I think we might have gotten confused. Okay,
So committee of the whole is this Monday, finance is December 1st.
correct.
Monday, 6:30 at Senior Center.
Can we do 6 o'clock? Is that doable for you? Not doing- Okay, 6:30 then, 6:30.
And what is
Madam
just
President,
the topic, it's just the 2 ordinances?
Okay,
the last
Go ahead.
go ahead.
The last committee meeting of the whole we had downstairs,
Yes,
we had one resident that attended, and it cost quite a bit of more money to operate this senior center that it does City Hall, I make a suggestion that we do it down room 7 in City Hall.
But we also had city staff that came to the meeting. So I don't know if we could all squeeze in that room.
We have before. I don't see a problem with it.
I mean, we only had one resident, I don't see anybody attending.
Linda?
As far as I'm concerned, there is no expense for here except the utilities, which are the same utilities that you would be using at City Hall. That room is very small, and if, I don't know if the two chiefs are coming, if Irene is coming, if I'm coming, it's kind of uncomfortable.
Okay, I withdraw my suggestion.
Who do you want at the meeting, I guess is the question.
We can't hear you, John.
Who do you want at the meeting?
Whatever
Just
is
yourself, so I don't think
comfortable
you
for
really
folks.
need
If
to-
you're not comfortable in the smaller room, I have no problem moving back. I don't have any problem moving back here.
Madam
Irene?
Chair, I have a scheduling conflict. I switched the meeting from the first to Monday because I thought the meeting, I have a standing Monday meeting, so I thought it was the first, so I sort of switched, so I switched my meeting. No, I have a personal meeting. I'm just saying I had
I
switched my
understand. I hear you.
calendar for the first,
Okay.
so I need to switch back now to the 24th, is that?
Madam President,
Well,
could I make a suggestion, since next week is a holiday week and a short week, that you forego Monday's meeting and schedule both on that first Monday, the first?
both of them?
Yes.
December 1st.
As long as you're fine with that.
Yeah.
I have no
Just-
problem.
Yeah,
with
this
it.
way
We just-
everyone's accommodated. It is a holiday week.
Right, and back-to-back
Short.
meetings is usually not a good idea anyway during a holiday. I'm fine with that, but at that point, I hope we're prepared to do some serious discussions. Okay, so your person is ready for the,
I can do it.
okay, all right, okay. We do have a speaker coming in with the finance meeting, which is why we were thinking 2 different meetings.
So it'll be the first? The 1st of December?
Well, I guess Richard and I have had a communication gap here, so.
So then what time do you want to have your committee of the whole meeting start?
Let's have yours first.
6 to 7?
6 to 7.
So finance is 6.
Finance will be 6 to 7, and the committee of the whole will be 7 until whenever. Here, well, we'll do it here. Probably not, but we can move on.
CCA.
We can, he probably won't take that long. Okay, that's good. All right, any other comments or concerns this evening? Alex?
We going to discuss anything on it, putting anything on the ballot? When will we be discussing that? Or if we're going to do
I think we're waiting for the provisional ballot to come out next week on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
That there's a slim chance that we might make it with the senior center. I don't know. I have hope.
Well, you do know the deadline is December 5th, correct?
We have one, the 3rd.
So you got a meeting on the 3rd?
So, you
But
know,
we could do something on the 3rd if we, I don't know, I'm getting mixed reactions and mixed messages. You know, it's too soon, people are still angry about everything. Yes, ma'am?
I saw Beechwood, City of Beechwood is having a special election, and it's costing them $23,000. It was in Cleveland.com today. It's probably what it'll cost us around.
Exactly, right.
What I was getting at, Madam President, was, are we going to have a special meeting on, okay, that issue, senior center, and are we also going to have discussions, when we going to have the discussions on the other issues that we possibly might want to put on the ballot? Is that going to be a special meeting or a meeting, a council meeting as a whole?
I think we need to wait until we hear information next Tuesday, and then we will have the committee of the whole meeting, and that would be a good time to bring it up. because we'll have some information from Richards, and at that point, I think it would be a better time.
No, we'll put it on the agenda.
I don't have to put the notice on until.
Right, we can wait for the notice and put it on the agenda? Absolutely, absolutely. Go ahead.
I was just gonna suggest on that meeting on the first, that we get some coffee, donuts. That
Well, you
night.
got Starbucks man over
If
there.
you'd like to, write me a check, I'll be happy to.
Richard will bring Starbucks, tell him. Tell Richard to bring Starbucks.
You want us to bring?
Richard, Christmas
It's
blend.
gonna be a late, it's gonna be a late night on
They have
that.
Christmas blend out.
We're already going 67 and 7
There's a late
What?
night on it.
Gotta wait that time. Make sure we get it
Send
this
a
time.
van with a,
I'll tell you what, I'll spring for
Richard,
coffee.
the mayor said I could send a van down to Starbucks and pick it up.
as long as you're there.
We'll pick him up too.
Sure, why not?
Yes.
I'll spring for the coffee. How's that?
Okay, folks, I think it's almost
Well, I mean, you should
time.
have your questions narrowed down before then.
We will, absolutely. We'll have a better agenda for you on December 1st. Even if you have a question, John, we'll have your rulings and all of that, if you'd like to. Okay. Any other comments, any other suggestions, any
Does
other?
everybody know about this statewide ban?
Yep. Go ahead.
What is that?
Do you know what reserved the
The Senate
room
voted.
on December the 4th at the Mid-Pine City Council?
Statewide.
Did anybody reserve the room at the Mid-Pine City?
That's, yeah, reserve on for the first Thursday.
Okay, it says Mid-Pine City Council. Was that for all of us?
Just for-
No, because when, you know.
Oh, is that as it comes up on their calendar?
Should be District 5.
Yeah, I didn't think today.
Okay, guys, we're good to go, and thank you again, Terry. We'll be talking to you.